What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off here at home, Taiwan's semiconductor giants make the world's most advanced computer chips. That puts the country on the front line of a global struggle for tech supremacy. But now, Taiwan is pushing for an early lead in a whole new field, 6G and quantum computing. Shuvan Paul reports.
5G networks are still rolling out in countries around the world. But researchers are already exploring the next generation of communication, the quantum leap to 6G. And a conference in Taipei is bringing together some of the world's top quantum scientists to brainstorm our digital future. Some of the world's most renowned quantum scientists, entrepreneurs, and researchers are here today. The subject of the discussion is so complex that you have to be an expert to understand most of it. But the outcome of their research may have direct impact on our daily lives and beyond it. Put simply, quantum is a way of computing that does away with traditional bits, those ones and zeros that make your PC run. Instead, it uses special hardware to produce quantum bits or qubits. They can be both 1 and 0 at the same time. This makes quantum computers' magnitudes more powerful than the laptops we use now. The technology has the capacity to change almost every part of our lives, including making possible the next generation of communications. To find out how, Janis Notzel has come all the way from Germany, birthplace of the father of quantum science, Max Planck, to Taiwan to organize this conference.
Taiwan is, of course, known globally for its strength in the microfabrication, chip fabrication, and all the technology that we research. Once it reaches a certain level of maturity, will need to be implemented.
The event's logo, with a map of Taiwan at the center, says it all. This country is gearing up for the future of communications.
Taiwan is very good in semiconductor industry. So we introduced the quantum technology to go beyond the state of the art.
But it's not just about 6G. Anirban Pathak is a key member of India's initiative on quantum tech. He says it has the potential to transform the way navies like Taiwan and India's fight at sea.
It is expected that there will be sensors for quantum radar and they will be able to detect stealth aircraft. Submarines are expected to be detected. Some country has 5 submarines and some country has 1. So they are equal because nobody knows where is the submarine. So if the submarine is detected, then power game will change.
Keeping 6G networks safe from hackers is one of the key challenges in moving to this technology. These scientists hope to use quantum computing to find solutions to meet this challenge.
This is what this Congress is about, yeah? How to manage or how to build secure digital communication systems.
The move to 6G is still years away, and scientists are fleshing out just what it will mean for the world. But as the global race for tech dominance ramps up, Taiwan is working to put itself at the front of the pack. Andy Xue and Shubham Pal for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's top trade negotiator is upbeat about a landmark trade deal with the U.S., which is currently going through the congressional approval process. He says the next steps won't be easy, but there's cause for optimism. John Van Triest has this report.
A Taiwan-U.S. trade agreement is on its way to the U.S. Senate. The House of Representatives gave its stamp of approval on Wednesday. The agreement includes measures that take aim at corruption and reduce customs formalities. This agreement is step 1 in a program called the U.S.-Taiwan Initiative on 21st Century Trade. It's meant to boost trade and ties between the U.S. and Taiwan as both countries' relations with China worsen. China claims Taiwan and has not ruled out using force to take control of the country. As the U.S. House gave the agreement its green light, the chair of its Ways and Means Committee had this to say.
This initial trade agreement negotiated by the Biden administration is a good step. And it shows the world that the Chinese Communist Party will not intimidate the United States from deepening our relationship with Taiwan.
Meanwhile, the Taiwanese reaction has been mixed. Critics include former Premier Sean Chen, who says the agreement should have lowered tariffs, a key part of most free trade accords. But in an interview Wednesday, chief trade negotiator John Dung defended the agreement.
假设美国的政策不改变，
对，
没有人有办法。我们不能够强人所难。现在一直嘲笑说啊，没有关税协定这个东西就不值钱，不能够说少了一样就通通把它推翻了。
Deng said the next two stages could be much harder to clear. The second phase will include talks on agriculture, which has been a stumbling block in the past. Taiwan's decision 2 years ago to allow U.S. pork treated with a leanness-enhancing drug was controversial. And he says the third phase, involving information security, could be harder still. But for now, Deng says this initial agreement is a big step, both in its scope and in the equal footing it gives both sides. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Meanwhile, the U.S. and India have hailed a new era in their country's relationship after the White House rolled out the red carpet for Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Shufan Paul has this story as well.
In 1993, a young Narendra Modi posing outside the White House just like countless other tourists. Cut to 30 years later, the same man is addressing the US Congress as the Prime Minister of India for the second time since 2016.
In the past few years, there have been many advances in AI, artificial intelligence. At the same time, there have been even more momentous development in another AI, America and India.
Modi's visit is partially meant to boost economic ties with the US and partially to shore up defense ties in the face of an increasingly aggressive China.
It's a very comprehensive joint statement. It kind of shows why this is a very top strategic partnership for both the United States and India, because completely the deals are all pervasive across defense, tech, energy, education.
But despite his warm welcome on the House floor, Modi's visit has not been controversy-free. 3 members of Congress boycotted his address, and former President Barack Obama suggested Biden should mention India's Muslim minority in his meeting with Modi. The US president, as promised by his administration, stopped short raising the issue of human rights, but did mention it in passing.
I look forward to discussing how we can strengthen our partnership and build a future together worthy of both our peoples, one grounded on democracy, human rights, freedom, and the rule of law.
Modi has been criticized for not holding a single press conference in India during his 9 years as the Prime Minister, but he did take questions on the American soil. Asked about human rights and the treatment of Muslims in India, Modi denied that they face discrimination.
इसलिए भारत के लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों में कोई भेदभाव नहीं है, न धर्म के आधार पर, न जाति के आधार पर, न उम्र के आधार पर, न भूभाग के आधार पर.
While in the US, Modi has largely dodged criticism of his administration's human rights record, while paving the way for potential new deals on economic and strategic ties. Those victories will mean Modi's visit to the US will be seen by him and his supporters as a success. Alex Chain and Shubham Pal for TaiwanPlus.
Germany's Chancellor has warned China against using force to take Taiwan. Here's what he said.
Alle einseitigen Versuche, den Status quo im Ost- und im Süd des chinesischen Meer mit Gewalt oder Zwang zu verändern, lehnen wir entschieden ab. Das gilt insbesondere für Taiwan.
Olaf Scholz was speaking to the country's parliament after hosting the first Chinese delegation since the COVID pandemic. Scholz says tensions between the West and China could risk sparking a conflict in Asia. Now, that meeting came as NATO's largest ever air drills wrapped up in Germany. The security bloc plans to open an office in Japan to promote its idea of collective defense here in Asia. Jaime Ocon explains.
German F-16s, US A-10s, and Eurofighters. These are just some of the aircraft that took part in Air Defender 23, NATO's largest ever joint air drills. For the past 10 days, more than 250 aircraft from 25 countries gathered at Air Force bases across Germany. Militaries here are practicing how to work together and fly as one massive unit.
Even though the language is English, everyone has a different accent. So also air traffic control or controllers in America speak in very specific cadence of specific words, and they're different when you leave America.
The drills are part of a push by NATO countries to show their collective strength. The Western Military Alliance is over 75 years old and is made up of 31 states. One of its founding principles is that an attack on one of its members will be an attack on all of them. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in early 2022 triggered increased cooperation between European nations and the US. Ukraine borders several NATO countries, leading to concerns that the war could spill into alliance territory. Officials at the air defender exercises say that with war happening so close to home, these drills are a way for the group to display its capabilities.
Wir wissen seit dem russischen Überfall auf die Ukraine, dass die europäische Sicherheitsarchitektur, so wie sie über Jahrzehnte lang von uns unterstellt worden ist, eben nicht mehr funktioniert und dass deswegen die Landesverteidigung ganz zwingend eine wesentlich größere Bedeutung haben muss.
NATO is primarily a Western alliance, but other non-member nations are now working to form closer ties with the alliance. Japan has stepped up its military exchanges with countries like the UK and recently revealed plans to open a NATO office in Tokyo. NATO's shift to the Indo-Pacific is largely a reaction to China's provocation in the region, specifically around Taiwan. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there are heightened concerns that a similar conflict could spark in Asia. As such, NATO is working to be prepared for any potential clash.
If there would be a regional security mechanism connect well with the United States, with NATO, of course, this mechanism will reassure regional security in the large part of Indo-Pacific.
The idea of collective self-defense is unique to Europe. There isn't a group like NATO in Asia. Analysts say that for a country like Taiwan, which faces the threat of invasion from China, having support from other nations could help deter a conflict.
All these countries now integrate together, preparing for the worst to come. And basically, they are considering China will pose a potential threat to regional security, which is a part of a common interest with Taiwan.
Already this year, Germany, the UK, and Canada have promised to deploy naval ships in the Indo-Pacific. With more countries working together and more military hardware in the area, they hope their presence won't be seen as a form of provocation and will help deter a conflict from igniting. James Lin and Ame Okan for TaiwanPlus.
The search for a missing tourist submersible has ended in tragedy, with all 5 people aboard dead. After a 5-day international search, rescuers say the vessel suffered a catastrophic implosion. Experts say all its passengers would have died immediately. The vessel lost contact on Sunday, soon after diving to see the remains of the Titanic. Rescuers have found pieces of the submersible at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, close to the wreckage of the century-old ocean liner. 2 titans of tech are getting ready to duke it out. In an exchange on social media, Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg agreed to a cage fight. The match would take place in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Octagon. That's the ring where the Ultimate Fighting Championship is held. It might sound like a joke, but a spokesperson for Facebook's parent company Meta says Zuckerberg is serious. But Musk's mom says the two should fight it out with words. Friday is the second day of the Dragon Boat Festival long weekend, and crowds of vacationers are rushing south to enjoy Taiwan's tropical sun. An estimated 10,000 visitors flooded the tiny island of Xiaoliuqiu off Taiwan's south coast, almost doubling its population overnight. With temperatures hitting 37 degrees, tourists swarmed to the beaches and overwhelmed local kayak rentals. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out this new exhibition in London called Diva. It features costumes and items from superstars spanning back nearly 200 years. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.